You stand knee-deep in the icy mud of a narrow alley, in the very heart of the greatest city of the ancient world. Thick fog slowly creeps across the smooth cobblestones, concealing your emaciated body, shivering from the morning chill. The sound of the rhythmic footsteps of patrolling legionnaires makes you press yourself deeper against the damp wall of a massive residential insula. On this day, everything was in place for the giant machinery of Rome to begin its next cycle. Not long ago, you were a free farmer, but ruthless state taxes and enormous debts have forever deprived you of your home. Now you are nothing more than a nameless street vagrant, cast to the bleakest depths of this cruel social hierarchy. Your name has been permanently and irrevocably struck from all official lists of citizens eligible for free bread distribution. In the cold eyes of the mighty state, you have become nothing more than annoying biological waste, polluting the immaculate marble streets of the shining capital. Around you, grandiose stone aqueducts and temples rise menacingly, vividly demonstrating the absolute triumph of engineering over nature. But this colossal, oppressive architecture was created not for your protection, but for total control over the masses. Your daily struggle for survival on these cobblestones, soaked in the blood of others, means absolutely nothing to the Senate and the Emperor. It was a system that built the empire faster than the world could stop it. You open your eyes in the pitch-black darkness of a narrow alley. Your back is frozen solid to the cold stone slabs of the ancient pavement. Thick morning fog slowly descends upon the dirty streets of the great city. On this day, everything is already in place to crush you. Roman engineers laid these stones centuries ago for the march of the invincible legions. Now this granite methodically draws the last remnants of warmth from your exhausted body. With incredible effort, you pry your frozen fingers from the damp earth. Every movement of yours is met with a dull, throbbing pain in your weakened muscles. The sound of heavy forged boots makes you hold your breath sharply. The morning patrol of the city guard methodically clears the area of human refuse. You know for certain that retreat is forbidden by the harsh rules of these streets. You press yourself as deeply as possible into a niche in the damp brick wall of a building. The soldiers pass right by you, their large shields scraping against the facades of the buildings. These men's discipline is far stronger than any compassion for your pitiful situation. A mistake on your part would cost you an immediate blow from a heavy army baton. The system doesn't ask for consent, it simply demands that you disappear immediately. Your legs tremble violently as you cautiously emerge from your nighttime shelter. The biting wind easily penetrates the gaping holes in your coarse tunic. You take your first step toward a new day of endless survival. This city was not built for you, but to ensure the smooth functioning of the empire. You walk along the massive, sky-reaching wall of a huge pagan temple. Stone fits perfectly upon stone, forming an insurmountable barrier between you and the warmth. The architects built this structure as if they knew of the millennia to come. Your fleeting life set against the backdrop of this marble grandeur means absolutely nothing. Hunger twists your stomach in a painful, unrelenting, and brutal spasm. You haven't eaten in 2 days, surviving only on sips of dirty water from a fountain. Instinct relentlessly drives you forward toward the wealthy central districts. Your decision has been made by hunger, and there is no turning back. You climb the steep city staircase, its steps incredibly slippery with filth. Your bare, calloused feet barely feel the cuts from the sharp stones. You must make it to the spot where scraps might be handed out before sunrise. It is there that your fate for the next long, agonizing day will be decided. Every move you make is now subject to the strict, merciless rhythm of the world's great capital. You obediently blend into the gray mass of similarly doomed silent shadows.
A shilling for the loaf, a shilling.
The Empire pays you no mind as long as you don't disrupt the established visual order. You hurriedly pick up your bowl and return to your original beggar's posture. Your pride has long been broken by the pressure of this constant need to humble yourself before the powerful. You have become a submissive cog in a vast machine for collecting small donations. Suddenly, an expensive, gold-adorned litter stops in front of you. From behind a thick silk curtain, a small, shiny coin flies your way. It clinks as it hits the stones, and you instantly cover it with your palm. At that moment, you feel the hate-filled gaze of the local beggar's leader upon you. You know full well that they won't let you keep that coin. The laws of the street dictate strict rules for the distribution of any windfall. You silently climb up and toss your earnings into the watchman's leather pouch. One mistake would cost you broken ribs in the nearest dark alley. The shadow economy operates here with the same precision as the state system. You're buying the right to simply stand on these steps until nightfall. Your earnings go upstairs, propping up the criminal structure of this brutal neighborhood. You drop to your knees again, returning to your monotonous, endless muttering. Rome collects tribute from everyone, including its poorest and most powerless residents. You feel the cold of the stones slowly seeping into your battered knees. Your day at the Forum drags on unbearably slowly under the scorching rays of the sun. You continue to fulfill your sole social function within this vast system. You leave the square as the sun begins to set in the west, heralding a cold night. Your path lies through the winding, dark alleys of the densely populated and dangerous Sabura district. You try to move silently, blending into the dirty walls of the high-rise residential blocks. In this concrete jungle, only those who know how to remain completely invisible survive. You take a step back, but your back hits a solid, impenetrable brick wall. Engineers built these labyrinths to maximize the use of precious urban space. Now this architectural efficiency has become your perfect, inescapable death trap. In this dark ranks of thugs, there is absolutely no mercy or weakness. One of them lunges forward, striking you hard on the shoulder with a stick. You cry out in sharp pain and collapse heavily onto the cobblestones, wet with garbage. Roman justice does not extend to such dark and filthy alleys. Here, power belongs only to brute force and primal, unrestrained cruelty. They begin methodically searching through your rags for hidden food or small coins. Their rough hands mercilessly tear at your only clothing, leaving deep scratches on your skin. You do not resist, knowing that any attempt to fight back will lead to certain death. You let them take your last, carefully hidden piece of dry bread. Rome does not conquer through the fury of these thugs. It simply uses them for natural selection. Your weakness makes you the perfect victim in this endless cycle of urban violence. You hide in a narrow crevice between two leaning buildings, waiting for night to fall. Another day comes to an end, leaving only bruises and emptiness. Roman sanitation laws are merciless to anyone showing even the slightest signs of a contagious disease. You quickly gather your rags, trying not to breathe the infected air of this place. Your instinct for self-preservation screams that you must leave this cursed area immediately. You run out into the street, but notice that all exits are already blocked by legionnaires. The authorities have swiftly cordoned off the entire Sabura district, turning it into one large quarantine zone. The soldiers' discipline is absolutely unwavering. Their spears are aimed directly at you and the crowd of terrified poor people. You know that retreat is forbidden, and any step forward means instant death by the blade. The system coldly isolates you to save the safe districts of the capital city of millions. You are doomed to return deep into the infected streets, where panic has already gripped all the residents. The disease is spreading at a terrifying rate, jumping from one emaciated person to another. You see people dropping dead right onto the dirty stone slabs of the ancient pavement. The Empire's medicine won't reach you here. You are left alone with inevitable death. You hide your face in a piece of old cloth, naively hoping to protect yourself from the invisible threat. The pressure of fear paralyzes your mind, forcing you to dart through narrow alleys in search of an exit. But the exits are blocked with the surgical precision of Rome's engineering and military genius. This city knows how to defend itself, cutting off its rotting, infected limbs without hesitation. By evening, special sanitation crews consisting of powerless slaves appear on the streets. They methodically hook the corpses with long iron hooks so as not to touch them with their hands. The sound of bodies being dragged across the stones becomes the main backdrop of this horrific night of quarantine. You hide on the roof of a low shed, watching this mechanical disposal with horror. You hear the old man below take his last, raspy, gurgling breath. His body is immediately hooked up and thrown onto a heavy cart passing by. The price the state pays for its safety is measured in your worthless lives. In this war against nature, Rome always wins through ruthless order and isolation. By morning, the cordon is suddenly lifted as the disease has receded, taking the weakest with it. You climb down from the roof, feeling incredible relief and weakness in all your limbs. Your world has changed, it has been emptied, leaving behind only the acrid smell of decay. You quickly leave this neighborhood before the soldiers change their minds and close the gates. The system has successfully purged itself, proving its incredible resilience to any internal crises. The cobblestones remain in place, while the people have vanished as if they were never there. You walk away realizing that your salvation was no miracle, but merely a blind stroke of luck. Another day of survival in Rome is over, but a new nightmare awaits you ahead. You walk along the high walls when you hear the rhythmic, growing rumble of marching feet. This is no ordinary patrol, it is a large-scale prefectural raid to round up free labor. You see the legionnaires rapidly blocking the ends of the street with heavy wooden shields. Your heart sinks with primal terror at the prospect of ending up in the lead mines. There is no compassion in this line of legionnaires. They are simply carrying out the state's mobilization plan. You lie motionless, feeling a huge fat rat crawling up your leg. Your life now depends on how deep you've buried yourself in this trash. A mistake would cost you your freedom, which is already nothing more than a phantom illusion. Soldiers overturn empty barrels in the shop. Their spears pass an inch from your head. The pressure of the system is physically palpable. It weighs on you with its absolute mechanical inevitability. Rome is not at war with you. It is simply extracting the biological resources it needs from the slums. Your body belongs to the state, and it has the right to use it at any convenient moment. Finally, the loud footsteps recede, and you hear the commander give the order to move on. You remain lying in the mud for several more hours, afraid to even twitch or cough. When you cautiously make your way out onto the street, you see nothing but trampled mud and abandoned belongings. The street is completely empty. All able-bodied men have been forcibly led out of the city in chains. Your luck has saved you once again, but it brings you no real relief. You know that such raids could happen again at any moment in your miserable life. A nearby vagrant slams his elbow hard into your face, trying to snatch your precious loot. You respond with a brutal headbutt, feeling the cartilage of his broken nose crack. Blood splatters onto the scattered food, but nothing stops anyone in this frenzied crowd. There are no rules here, only the primal, uncontrollable fury of a hungry stomach. The slaves watch this bloody spectacle with smirks from the safety of their elevated steps. To them, you are nothing more than cheap, free entertainment after a hard day's work in the palace. The Roman system has turned you into wild beasts, obediently fulfilling the role of the city's garbage collectors. The power of these patricians is absolute. They control you even through the rotting scraps they throw away. The pressure of this humiliating existence is slowly and methodically driving you mad. You look at your trembling, mud-covered hands and realize that you have become a true monster. Rome is not at war with you. It simply creates conditions in which you destroy yourselves. The laws of the Senate do not apply here. Here, only the law of the strong and the hungry reigns. You wipe your bloodied mouth and hide the remains of the pie deep inside the folds of your tattered tunic. From this day forward, you know you are capable of murder for the sake of a mere piece of yesterday's bread. The world has finally lost its color for you, shrinking to the size of yet another garbage heap. The empire has drawn its conclusions, creating a perfect, self-contained mechanism of self-destruction at the very bottom of society. The architecture of this city is stunning in its grandeur, contrasting with your pitiful, half-animal state. The stones of this mansion will stand for another 1,000 years, while your bones will rot in an unmarked grave. You slowly walk away from the gates, leaving behind the moans of those who lost in this fight. Your survival is not a victory, It is merely a reprieve before the inevitable, tragic end. The system keeps running, the patricians drink wine, and you wander into the darkness with a bloodied face. Rome wins because its hierarchy is unshakable, and people like you will always be at the bottom. Your humanity has dissolved in this fight over scraps, leaving only an empty shell of instincts. Tomorrow, this brutal ritual in the backyard is bound to repeat itself. You wake up to a growing, deafening roar that shakes the very ground beneath your feet. Today, the great Imperial Games begin, and hundreds of thousands of people are flocking to the magnificent Colosseum. You head toward the amphitheater because in a crowd like this, there's always a chance to find some dropped food. The stadium's massive stone arches loom before you, overwhelming you with their incredible, monumental grandeur. The crowd of spectators carries you forward in an uncontrollable flow, pressing you against the rough travertine walls. You're suffocating in this dense mass of sweaty bodies, trying with all your might to stay on your feet. A mistake in such a crush costs you your life. Anyone who falls is instantly trampled into the dust by heavy sandals. This is no gladiatorial combat. This is your own personal, deadly arena beyond the high walls. You make your way to the market stalls where drunken spectators often drop pieces of roasted meat. Guards mercilessly beat people like you with spear shafts, driving you away from the stalls of respected citizens. You dodge the blow and manage to pick up a squashed flatbread from the ground. The power of Rome is physically palpable here. It emanates from the excited, bloodthirsty crowd. Suddenly, a synchronized roar of 50,000 enraged human throats echoes from inside the amphitheater. The sound is so powerful that it makes you instinctively crouch down and cover your head with your hands. At that moment, out there on the sand, the fate of yet another warrior is decided by a slight gesture of the emperor. But your fate is decided here, in the dust, where you're fighting a dog for a piece of bread. The entertainment system works flawlessly, channeling citizens' aggression and distracting them from political issues. Engineers have created this perfect killing machine, which grinds people down both inside and out. You are nothing more than a dirty prop in this grand state celebration of cruelty and absolute domination. Objectively speaking, your life is worth less than that of the cheapest, untrained gladiator in the arena. You watch as carts loaded with the bodies of slaughtered animals and people are driven out through the back gate. You and the other beggars rush toward them, hoping to cut a piece of meat from a bull's carcass.